I was talking with Mario Santoyo last week. He's with the Latino Water Coalition. I'm sure you've heard of his name.
Heard his name.
And he gave us a number, and he was saying that the water that goes through the delta to the ocean, it was 65%. Do you know anything about those numbers? Because that's a hard number for me to swallow.
There was a drought conference at Fresno State today, and unfortunately I had to miss it. My supervisor, Carl Carlucci, though, gave me a very brief update. He said, and this was one thing he did tell me, he said that whoever did the presentation there, I think was from Department of Water Resources, said that 75% of the freshwater river flow from Northern California that enters the Delta is meant to keep that saltwater barrier. 75% of the freshwater river flow 75% of the freshwater river flow from Northern California that enters the Delta is meant to keep that saltwater barrier, 75%. And, you know, depending on that percentage, then that saltwater barrier will move within the Delta, and that's when we start having areas that are usually freshwater begin getting impacted by saltwater. So I can only say that that's the number he heard today, 75%. I'm sure in some years it's less, depending on, you know, if we have higher stream flows, they need less to keep that barrier, and so more can be diverted.
There's a lot of talk about, you know, some flexibility with the EPA during the time of this, you know, disaster, this emergency before it's a disaster. And, you know, I kind of wonder if it would take a city like Coalinga, you know, a western, you know, valley city,
fairly big,
to spearhead something like this, you know, saying, hell no, we're not going to reduce. In fact, why don't you, you know, why don't you turn our water off? That kind of thing. Because then I wonder, at first people would be scared. They'd say, that's radical. But I wonder, because EPA is radical. And these, you know, 75% of the water, really? Going out to the ocean? What if we were to, you know, ease back on that a little bit while the water bond, you know, got in place and started producing some water? What if we were to ease back? You know, it's a give and take, because the EPA isn't something that's been around since time began. This is something that humans also created. And so, you know, I kind of wonder, I'd like to hear from citizens, you know, if anyone's watching, if anybody watches on the internet later, you know, let me know how you feel about this. Mario Santoyo, he told me, he said he wants me to come and he wants me to speak in Sacramento. And I said, you know what, I will. If you invite me, I will. And I want to know if the citizens back that, or if the citizens just want to put their head in the sand and say, well, we accept whatever comes from the government. Or do we want to say, hey, guess what, government? We've had enough. We're sick and tired, and we're not going to take it anymore. Please get in touch with me. Let me know.